Welcome to Maple and Mangu Show. I am Rafael, your host. Today I'll be talking about the power of effective communication. Effective communication is one of the best things that we can add to our tools. Doesn't matter if you are in university or if you're running a business or just even communicating with your kids, or perhaps you're selling some products. If you cannot communicate effectively, it's going to be a tough road. By the way, sounds interesting. Myself, the guy with the accent, talking about communication. For me, was essential to understand all other things around pronouncing the proper words that actually are ways to get our message across. Number one, clear, concise, and to the point. Whenever you're communicating, it's important that you get to the point that you want to make. One of the mistakes that I made at the beginning of my sales career, it was I would talk about everything except what the outcome that I was looking for was. And that does not work well with people that have some kind of success in their life. Why? Because these are busy people. These are busy people and they have stuff on the go. So if they want something out of you, they appreciate, being genuine in what it is, the outcome that you're looking at. So go straight to the point. And sometimes, there are different scenarios that we can play this on. Let's say if you're talking to your child, the child just came crying from school, had a tough day or whatever. Perhaps this is not the best approach at this point to going, what is the problem? Let's fix and stuff like that. Sometimes is people just want to be heard. They don't want your solutions. I am guilty of that. I focus always on the solution. What is the problem? What is the solution? But which is basically is going to be one of my next points coming up out here. Number two, ask open-ended questions. Ask open-ended questions. What are open-ended questions? If I ask my son, are you hungry? That is a closed question. Why? Because the answer is either yes or no. And then the conversation is on me. I have to keep on talking. A better question to ask is, how hungry are you, son? Number three, active listening. Active listening. They say that we got one mouth and two ears, and therefore we should use them accordingly, right? So usually when we interact with people, sometimes I ask them a few questions and they just keep on elaborating and asking another questions and they keep on elaborating on that. 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, and they walk away saying, I like that guy. But they don't even know anything about me. It's because I just get them to talk. Most humans like to talk. And when we enable them to express themselves, people will be able to express themselves and therefore you can understand them. If you want to understand people, you just have to ask good questions. Number four, relatability is a great way to communicate. When you can speak on people's best interests, the conversation is very smooth. You don't have to carry the conversation. For example, if you were to talk to me about baseball, you're going to have a very nice long conversation with me. Why? Because it is part of the things that I like. But if you were to talk to me, let's say about, I don't know, polo. I don't know anything about polo really. So the conversation wouldn't go too far. So by you, again, going back to the previous points, asking open-ended questions, listening, you can understand what is important to them and then you can relate to them. I have kids. If I'm talking to people and they have kids, I'm definitely talking about my kids. If I want to find an even ground, something that we can relate on. So relatability. Number five, mindful confidence. Mindful confidence. Did you notice how I just said mindful before I said confidence? because sometimes confidence can come across as arrogance sometimes. So know when to elevate how certain you are about the topic that you're talking about. And by the way, shouting doesn't make you confident. Shouting doesn't make you confident because you are kind of exaggerating your point, and that's very obvious. So being confident, the person that's the most certain in most interactions usually wins the argument. And this is not about arguments, it's about how conversations go. The person that is asking the questions usually is guiding the conversation, is always learning the most about what is happening right now. And then when you portray your view on things, it is a calculated message that you're saying because you really understand how the other person feels, and therefore you are being mindful when you say your message with confidence. Number 6, last point, number 6, watch for non-verbal cues. Non-verbal cues speak loudly. The way we say it is very important. The way we hold our body is very important. The way we engage is very important. So it's very important that we're looking into people's eyes when we're talking to them directly. I know a gentleman, he's a big time entrepreneur, and every single interaction that I have with this person, I felt I was the only person that mattered to him. And why? Because he took his full attention to me, his eyes, shook my hand firmly, and said, "How are you? How are you?" And by the way, he also remembers my name. That's a bonus one. Remember people's names. Mention their names. The sweetest word you're ever going to hear, it is your name being said out loud. So remember people's names. That is the last one. I hope that you like this episode. Share this with somebody that can benefit from this. The channel is growing already. And this is a beautiful thing because this message, I'm trying to get it to as many communities as possible. I wish some of these lessons I had it earlier in life, but I'm glad I had them. And now I can share my experiences with all of you. Let's go.